Hi, and welcome to Rethink Dialogue. In today's episode, we're sitting down with Rachel Goodman, who is in charge of fashion and luxury partnerships at Pinterest. Hi, Rachel. Welcome to Rethink Dialogue. So, first question, always, tell me a little bit about yourself, your personal background, and your work.
Sure. I am at Pinterest. I live in New York, in Brooklyn. And I'm from Dallas originally, and my work background is a little all over the place. I started at Condé Nast at style.com back in the day, and from there went more onto the ad tech side of things, sold rich media at Point social platforms at this moment, and then went to Pandora, where I got to help reinvent the radio world on digital. And coming over to Pinterest was such a dream for me. I started pinning when I think it first launched. I was a very early pinner, and I remember when I was at Point sitting there pinning away thinking and actually saying out loud to one of my colleagues, as soon as Pinterest has a revenue model, that's where I want to be.
Wow.
And sometimes when you put things out into the world, they have a funny way of working out.
Yeah, great. So tell me a little bit about Pinterest and your role at Pinterest. So what do you do?
Sure. So I am on the partnerships team, a partner manager focusing mainly on fashion and luxury partnerships. So Pinterest is still relatively new for brands. Some have been there for a few years. Our team is relatively new, and our goal is really to help brands understand how to capitalize on Pinterest, whether it's their own profile, whether it's their organic experience or their paid experience. We're really focused on our brand partnerships and building out some really key categories for us.
But when I think about Pinterest, or I think when most people think about Pinterest, is it like basically for personal stuff? It's like you post your recipes or you try to find fashion things, or is it just a personal experience?
Pinterest is all about planning for your future. So you're pinning, you're saving. A pin is essentially a save onto a board. You're curating your future life. And when you're doing that, you're doing it across a lot of different key categories. Fashion, food are definitely two of those top categories, but it's more about going and finding relevant content and discovering new ideas and new things that will help lead to that better future that you're after. So it's not necessarily pinning user-generated content the way you would on an Instagram. You know, I take a picture, this is what I'm doing, and I'm posting it out to my Instagram world. It's more about finding content from brands, from businesses, from bloggers, from other people, and being able to save those and reference them and do them. So we say discover, save, and then do those pins.
So then you mentioned businesses. So what is the optimal way for a business to be on Pinterest?
Sure. 2/3 of all content on Pinterest, of all pins, are from brands and businesses.
Wow.
So Pinterest really is a branded content hub. It's native advertising in its most pure and simple format, in that branded content has the same weight as any type of user-generated content, but really adds more credibility once you have the brand there. So we want brands to engage and bring their content onto Pinterest because their customers are there building their futures and are ready to discover their products. And that's the place where they can really do that and then drive back to their site to purchase those things and do those ideas.
Yeah. So in your point of view, which industries have to be on Pinterest?
Without a doubt, if you are in the food industry, if you're in the home decor industry, if you're in the retail industry of any kind, fashion especially, you need to be on Pinterest because we are the world's largest recipe catalog, home decor catalog, fashion catalog. Pinterest is a digital catalog. It is the visual web, and that's where your consumers are finding content, especially around those three categories. Now, that's not to say there aren't interest points out there that aren't ready to be capitalized on as well. We look at auto as a huge opportunity, finance as an opportunity, people have to plan for their futures and they need financial support and help in order to do that. Any industry that has something to offer, which is all of them, some type of tip, some type of content that will be valuable for your customer, Pinterest is the place to do that.
Yeah, I discover a lot of companies, consultancies are posting infographics for any kind of data, any kind of whatever, inspiration.
Sure.
So that's also, it's kind of like a platform to build thought leadership as well.
Absolutely.
Within any kind of category, actually.
Could be a really interesting B2B experience from a thought leadership perspective, sure.
Are there any industries that shouldn't be on Pinterest as a contrast?
I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't be there. Every industry has some type of thought leadership, some type of product to offer, and this is the place where you go to find it.
So what about conversion? So companies, like you say, 2/3 of all the pins that are out there are from companies.
Yep.
And I'm guessing they're doing it for the conversion, for the ROI of something. So tell me a little bit about how the ROI concept is.
Sure. So we're measuring a few different key points, but I would say where Pinterest has really made a difference has been in helping drive site traffic. So some of our retail partners have done studies that have shown that Pinterest is the number 2 traffic driver, social traffic driver to their sites, just behind Facebook. Pinterest scale is much smaller than Facebook is. Pinterest is at 100 million monthly active users, and obviously Facebook is 1 billion plus. So being at that sort of scale and driving that amount of traffic, and then at some points driving higher average order size on sites, even more so than Facebook or other platforms do, just shows that pinners are in the mindset to be influenced and drive purchase consideration. And that's really where we're seeing Pinterest make a difference.
And now in the US you have the buy pin.
Yes. The buyable pins.
So when and how that's I'm guessing that is working real well.
It's just at the very beginning, but it has been the number 1 requested feature from our pinners for a very long time. It's this idea of you find these amazing things on Pinterest and you want to be actually able to do them. So to be able to purchase that product that you found, if it goes to a link to a site where you can't, it becomes a lot more difficult to actually do the thing that you discovered. So integrating the buy button was the very obvious choice to being able to say, okay, you found this great product, buy it. You don't even have to leave. So we're fueling that discovery of new products. And at the very, very early stages, I think a couple of the really key things we're seeing is that we're helping drive mobile sales. We just launched on mobile to start, and mobile commerce is still something that a lot of retailers are trying to figure out. And we feel like we can really make a difference there in terms of driving mobile sales. I would say the second is driving new customers. People are discovering new brands and new products on Pinterest. So the folks that are converting there are likely new customers for your brand.
Right. And you mentioned previously that like Pinterest is about the future.
Yes.
So you had a really nice thought line about that. So explain how it is.
So when you think about activities you're doing on other social platforms, you're posting about something you've done this past weekend on Facebook, you're tweeting about something you're doing right this moment. On Pinterest, you are planning for the future. That future could be having a baby, making dinner tonight, buying a new home, getting married. Some of those future points are years out. Some of them are tomorrow night. But it's that idea of you're in the mindset, you're coming with a very specific commercial intent for the future. So as a marketer, how powerful is that to be in front of someone before they've made any decisions, knowing that they have intent for your category, for your product, and being able to drive that.
Great. So your point of view when it comes to marketing, is there any advice you would give to a company today considering what to do on your platform?
I would say be authentic to your brand. When you really think about, okay, all of these things that I've said about Pinterest is a great opportunity for my brand to be here, so I must go be there. How do I do this? And how do I do this the right way? I always tell people there's no right or wrong. This is still a test and learn environment. You can put a ton of content up there and see what performs best. See what pinners are responding to and build upon that. Use those insights to fuel future creative development. And really make sure that those experiences that you're building are authentic to your brand and authentic to the platform that you're doing them on, and that you're tapping into that right behavior. So don't worry too much, just kind of go for it, but stay really true to your brand and the products that you're offering, and pinners will respond to that.
And spinning a little bit more on that, based on influencers, how can a brand, because a lot of people or a lot of companies, brands are talking about influencer marketing. And how does that work with Pinterest?
So in terms of influencers, we really look at it as a really strong content opportunity. So the influencers who are on Pinterest probably have their own brand, their own identity, and their own blogs, if you will, and they're producing really great content. So we help match you up with someone that echoes your brand and maybe has a passion for your brand and can really help you as a brand develop new and exciting content that pinners will respond to. Any influencer on Pinterest knows what pinners are responding to, because that's why they're there, that's why they're so influential. So we really look at it as a content opportunity more so than anything.
Good. Okay, I always have one last question. And that is, what inspires you?
I find myself being so passionate about Pinterest, I think because of ways that it's inspired things in my own life. I think about planning my wedding on Pinterest, planning my new home on Pinterest, having recipes on Pinterest. I do all of those things. When I first started planning for my wedding, I started seeing all of these different paper, all this different calligraphy that I thought was so beautiful, and started saving it to a board. And now, years and years later, I took my first calligraphy class. I thought, maybe I can actually do this. There's so many people doing calligraphy. Maybe I can try this. And so just seeing that firsthand of how Pinterest has influenced new things in my life, new ideas, new products, I believe so much in the power of it.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us on Rethink Dialog.
Thank you for having me.
It was really good. Appreciate it.
Yeah.